Welcome to another episode of the Muffed Punt podcast. My name is Brandon, and tonight is going to be an awesome night. I am joined tonight by Terry and by Paul. Paul is back. We're super happy to have him here. And tonight, in his honor, we've come up with a fun little game for us to play. How you doing tonight, fellas? How you doing, Paul?
It's great to be back, bro. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Looking forward to this little game Brandon has planned for us today.
Definitely.
You guys
You're going down, sucker.
Oh, it is going to be Paul versus Terry tonight in their guess a quarterback knowledge and guess a wide receiver knowledge. That's right, folks. What I'm doing is I'm going to throw up the 2020 season, and then they're going to have to guess who the player is. And we're going to see which one between Paul and between Terry can get the most points. We're going to have, I think we're going to have 7 rounds unless it's a complete landslide one-sided here for the quarterbacks, and we have 5 rounds for the wide receivers. And I have a tiebreaker, if need be, in the pocket. So we'll have to see how things go, but I'm super excited. Are you guys ready?
I've just got one quick question, just so I've got everything in mind.
Of course.
So as we're going like wide receivers, is it only wide receivers or is it anyone who can catch the ball? Like, are we talking tight ends?
Absolute great question. For the quarterbacks and wide receivers, when we do the quarterbacks portion, they will be quarterbacks in a row. That way you guys can only just think about quarterbacks. When we do wide receivers, it'll just be wide receivers. That way you guys can just think about that. And then the tiebreaker.
Like, there's no tight ends in there because I'm just asking because Travis Kelce has had like a wide receiver like year. So I want to keep that in mind if it's someone who's like in the role of guessing.
I understand. Yeah, I totally get where you're at. So the tiebreaker may be anyone who could touch the ball on the offense.
Okay, cool. Like it. Perfect.
Cool. All right, gentlemen. So I'm super excited. I don't really have like a jazzy name for this yet because it's the first time that we've done it. So we'll just call it the Muffed Punt Podcast's Who Am I? So
I like it.
We have a couple different rounds. So in the first round, what we're going to do is I think what I'm going to do is we're going to throw out what I think is going to be possibly the most wild card of them all. So are you guys ready?
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, let's go.
It's going to be the first one to answer is going to be the rules, okay? And then you get more than one guess if no one's gotten it. So Paul, like say you chime in first and you get it wrong, then Terry gets a guess. And then if Terry gets it wrong, then we go to Paul. Well, we're going to do Family Feud rules. You have, like, if it goes to you, you got to have an answer. No uhs. Like, you got to say something. Otherwise, it goes right back to the other person.
I like it.
The person who... Exactly. So if you're the other person, you can feel free that when it goes to the other person to guess, you can count to 5, and then if they haven't done it, if they still haven't said anything, you can and then we can go to you. So
nice.
All right.
Sounds fun.
All right,
Sounds
cool.
fun.
First one. Who am I? This season, I threw for 4,320 yards. I threw for 34 touchdowns.
Josh Allen.
Damn. All right. Paul's on the board. Love it.
All right, that was pretty quick. I'm going to have to... Jeez, I didn't have a second to think about that one. He must know all the stats.
I watched the game last night, and Josh Allen broke Jim Kelly's record for most touchdown passes in a season. So it was just something that stuck with me. So that one was really just kind of luck of the draw.
You know, since we're here, I have to ask you, Paul, because earlier in the year we did our MVP vote, and I jokingly said my honorable mention was Josh Allen. I mean, do you really think, because you laughed at me, do you really think that 34 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, over 4,000 yards, that's a pretty darn good season, especially for Josh Allen?
I think it's a fantastic season. I don't think that it's MVP numbers. I don't think that he should be in the combo this year. The only reason I think that is because I think Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are just so far ahead of everyone else. But Josh Allen, if he maintains this for another year or two, everything that I said bad about him, wow, was I wrong. I am willing to admit when I'm wrong. And if he keeps this up for another year or two, I look like a fool.
I love this, man. This is really good. This has been fun. So, all right, number 2. You guys ready?
Yep.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Who am I? This year I threw for 4,034 yards. I threw for 28 touchdowns.
Justin Herbert.
Oh, snap. Terry's on the board.
I like it. Nice.
Yeah, I saw that on. I saw that on Twitter. I was scrolling through and I saw he had 28 touchdowns. So I figured I'd go with that one right away.
If he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, I don't know who should. Wow, because he had a year.
I think this is actually a pretty good year for the offensive Rookie of the Year category. I mean, Herbert is the quarterback, so he's almost guaranteed to get it, I think. But I mean, Justin Jefferson's a stud, and then the dude James Robinson from Jacksonville. I mean, that guy was undrafted, and I think he's over 1,000 yards rushing for the year.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah, he was setting records with his numbers. That was amazing. I do think it's been a great year for offensive rookies. I really wish that Joe Burrow hadn't been injured all year, and I might look like a fool for this, just the way I look like a fool for the Josh Rosen, but I'm calling Tua a bust at this point. Like he, I think, will not work out in the state of Florida. I think he might be like Ryan Tannehill, where after he goes somewhere else, maybe that'll happen. But I just, he hasn't looked the same way he looked at Alabama to me. But I really wish that Joe Burrow hadn't gotten hurt, because I think between Burrow and Herbert, that would have been a great Rookie of the Year chase.
You know, we talked about it in one of the earlier podcasts. I don't think anybody really saw that out of Justin Herbert coming out of college. I don't think anybody expected this kind of season. And
No.
the Chargers have been an absolute delight. Even though they haven't played, all and out winning football, those games have been a pleasure to watch. So
Yes.
I'm sure it's been tough for them all in all, because there's been a lot of games in there of the woulda, coulda, shouldas. But man, it's been a lot of entertainment, a lot of entertaining football that's come out of them for this year.
Yeah, right there with you.
All right, you guys ready for round 3?
I don't know. Can it be more like round 1?
Man, tie ball game. I love it. All right, here we go. Who am I? This year I threw for 3,732 yards. I threw for 25 touchdowns. I threw for 7 interceptions. My quarterback rating was 71.5.
Matt Stafford.
Joe Burrow.
Negative. I went to... No, we'll not go there yet. I am 6'3". I am 29 years old.
Ryan Tannehill.
Negative. Terry?
Matt Ryan.
Negative. Oh, I like this. I went to Fresno State. Wow, I really thought that'd give it away.
No, I'm struggling with a quarterback that went to Fresno State.
I wear the number 4.
Derek Carr?
You got it.
Jeez.
Wow.
That was I think this one was probably going to be the hardest. I didn't want to start off with that one, but I was like, oh, I really think. But we talk about Derek Carr so much on the show, especially you and I, Paul, when we've had past podcasts, because we've talked about how much Gruden we don't think likes him, that
Yeah.
I thought maybe, just maybe, you'd get that and be able to pull that out of the ethers there. So good job, bud.
Jeez. Deep dive on that one.
Deep dive.
Did you
Speaking
like
of
that
Carr
order?
And
Do
the
you
Raiders.
Do you think that was a good order before we jump in for like the hints? Like, do you think that worked out pretty
Oh,
decent?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that was
like
really
I like
good.
that.
All right, perfect. Go ahead, bud. Sorry, Terry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say, speaking of Carr and the Raiders, how about that ending to that game? Just, I mean, don't you think he should have punched it in for 6 when you're on the doorstep instead of screwing around and trying to just waste the time?
Yes, and I also think that pulling Tua, if you're going to start Tua, is the wrong thing to do. You've got to let him figure it out. So I think that it was bad coaching all around. I I'm really curious to see if they're gonna stick with Gruden because both years started 6-4. Both years missed the playoffs. This year, I think he was 6-2 at one point. So, and I mean, obviously, there's the year before that, but first years are usually pretty bad unless you're Matt LaFleur. Um, so yeah, it was.
I think I was gonna say I think Gruden's pretty safe, because I think Derek Carr is the big question. Are they gonna try and let him? I mean, Mariota looked pretty good when he came in to play for him in that one game. Maybe Super Mario takes over next season.
I think playing
Uh,
devil's advocate really quick is that, like, for that specifically with Gruden, I do think he'll get one more year. But if he has another year where they just completely peter out at the end of the season, I don't know if he'll be safe after that because that'll be 3 years in a row where it's like the team just completely dies by the end of the year. Now, you guys have played football before, so you guys can tell me, do you think that is more that the team is being figured out, like Gruden, like they know his style and kind of what kind of calls he's going to make at that point? Or do you think he doesn't have the players to get him over the edge?
I think that he right now is a fine slash good coach. I think that he needs specific players to run the system he wants to run, and he doesn't have them. And I think that that's the difference between a good coach and a great coach in the college and NFL ranks is being able to adapt your system for the players that you have versus trying to adapt who your players are to try to make your system work. I mean, for me, it's the Phil Jackson argument where everywhere he went, he brought the triangle and it didn't always bring out the best in people. Usually won championships, but I don't think that he's a good enough coach to not have exactly who he wants running on there.
I think. I mean, I'd say offensively, I definitely think that they're in. They'll be in the playoff question next year again. They'll be probably on the cusp. I mean, playing in that division with Chiefs is always going to be tough. But I mean, like he's got Darren Waller at tight end. He's probably the second best tight end in the game right now behind Kelsey. The guy's a beast. Josh Jacobs is a stud running back. I mean, their offensive line is pretty good. They could maybe upgrade a little bit there. Um, Nelly came out of nowhere and had a great season. Plus, they had that speedster at wide receiver they drafted. So I think on offense they're pretty good. Their defense stinks. They can't stop anybody. I think I was reading an article that said that overs in any game that I think the Raiders had only had the under in 2 games the entire season.
Wow.
In games that they were involved in, the unders only hit twice. So out of 16 games, 14 they're on the over. That means your defense sucks. So I
Yeah,
would
that
say
is.
they need another year of drafting some defenders. I would say probably an edge. They need an edge rusher and probably someone on the back end to slow down the other team's pass.
Yeah,
But
I will say I think that if they get rid of Derek Carr and go with Marcus Mariota, one, they take a step backwards. Two, Derek Carr ends up in a better situation.
So you do think that Derek Carr will be able to thrive in another place, just like the Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, I think he's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. I think the only reason he slid to the Raiders in the draft is because his brother wasn't great in Texas, in Houston. But I do think that Derek Carr he's a starting caliber quarterback in the league. I do think he can make the playoffs. I think he's better than some of the quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, like Brad Johnson, all those other crazy names out there. Um, but yeah, I think that Derek Carr deserves a fresh start because John Gruden. I just get the feeling. I mean, Brandon, we've had this discussion a bunch. I just get the feeling that John Gruden hates Derek Carr.
Yeah, I forget, it was Sims on the Pro Football Focus podcast. and he played for Gruden, and he said Gruden basically loves every single quarterback that's not on his team. Like, if you play quarterback and you could play for his team and you don't play for his team, he's got it out for you. Like he's in love with you and you just don't know about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
Just a quick question: Is
yeah.
Derek Carr a free agent after this season?
No, he's still under contract.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the offseason for quarterbacks in this year is going to be insane.
Yes, it is.
I was just gonna say, like Derek Carr seems like he would be the right type of quarterback to take over for Drew Brees in that Saints system because he's an accurate thrower, and I mean, like, it just seems like the Raiders, even before Gruden got there, they just never really gave him a chance to throw the ball, and I mean, he's pretty accurate as a thrower, but I don't think that anyone's ever been willing to give him the chance to let it fly.
Yeah, I agree.
You guys ready for round 4? Paul's.
I don't know. I'm winning 2-1. I kind of don't want to lose. So maybe we should just call this quits.
I knew that was coming. Can we just stop now?
No,
all right.
Let's do this.
For the 4th round, I'm going to let you guys choose. Do you want the more obscure or do you want the easy one? I have one easy one.
Obscure.
All right, we're going obscure. Who am I?
James Winston. I'm just kidding.
What would he have? Like 5 yards? I'd have to look that up. That would be super obscure. Yeah,
lots
right.
Of bench time.
All right. Who am I? This year I threw for 2,415 yards. This year I threw for 5 touchdowns. This year I threw for 10 interceptions. My QBR this year was 45.1. I am 6'5".
Carson Wentz.
Negative. Paul? I'll call that an eh. Do you have another guess, Terry?
Trubisky.
Negative. All right, moving on. I am 31 years old.
Nick Foles.
Negative. This is fun. I wear the number 1.
Cam Newton.
Boom. Tie game, baby.
Nice.
Tie game. Ooh, that was fun.
Down to the wire.
If I told you at the beginning of the year that those would be Cam Newton stats, how many of you would have believed me?
I would have believed you at the beginning of the year. I thought his career was over. I would say after the first 2 games, I don't think I would have believed you because everything looked different the first 2 games this year. His form was there. He was doing very well. Then he got COVID and died.
I don't know. Do you think that might have been what happened with brain fog and things of that nature that people were kind of talking about?
I think there's a chance that that's what it had. I also think he's in a place that I don't know if they have any NFL wide receivers on that roster.
I think that's.
So I think it's hard to evaluate someone like Cam Newton when he's on a squad like that. So I mean, we just said it. It's going to be a very interesting year for off season. I think that if Cam Newton wants to go learn for a year in the New Orleans Saints jersey and sit as a backup, I think that he could do that and then come out and look really sharp the year after.
How many backups can Sean Payton keep on that roster? How
12.
many?
As long as Breeze is still the starting quarterback, I don't think he can have enough.
Yeah, well,
because he's like one hit from turning into dust. I mean, I don't know how Breeze came back from that injury, but yeah, I mean, anybody can go there and learn how to play QB. I mean, you would have thought Winston would have been the starter when Breeze gets hurt, but he pulls Taysom Hill, you're going from gadget player to starting quarterback, and he played pretty well.
He did all right, but I think that you had to go with Taysom Hill there because what are you going to do? Just keep bringing in backup quarterbacks without looking at the one who's on your roster?
I thought I heard one of you guys were about to get abducted there for a minute. I don't know what that noise was that I heard, but it's good Lord. It sounded like
over my shoulder.
it sounded like somebody was about to get sucked up by a tractor beam. Sorry, I got distracted. Oh boy. All right, man. Tie ball game. Sorry, go ahead, bud.
I was just gonna say, like, if he puts Winston in, I feel like they don't win you know, they don't win as many games as they do with Taysom Hill because he's just gonna throw too many picks.
I haven't been super impressed though with watching the extra play time that I've gotten out of Taysom Hill though. Like I really expected a bit more out of him. I've really kind of felt like it's been mediocre to average at best. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that he won't be a starting quarterback, at least not for the Saints, long term.
He didn't pass his audition, so I think that they have a more formidable backup next year. But who knows what even happens with Breeze anyway? He's probably going to retire.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think he's going to retire unless he wins a Super Bowl.
I think his ribs might retire for him, but we'll have to see what's going on there.
That's all right. That's what implants are for. Just get in some steel ones, throw them right back out there.
He can't throw the ball more than 20 yards. I mean, Mike Thomas is a stud, but you can't keep running, hook routes and win games. You got to go downfield.
What are you talking about? That's exactly what happened for Peyton Manning, except he couldn't throw 7 yards downfield.
Yeah, but they had that. The Broncos defense was smothering at that time.
So I'm hearing that, yes, Paul, you're right. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl when he couldn't throw as well as Drew Brees does.
Maybe if we have to fuse Drew Brees' neck together, he can still figure something out. Just has to give Peyton a call.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, here we go. Tie-breaking round number 5. I was hoping this is going to be close. You guys have exceeded my expectations, so thank you. All right, who am I? This season, I threw for 1,453 yards. This season, I threw for 10 touchdowns. This season, I threw for 2 interceptions.
Jalen Hurts.
Negative. Terry? All right, I'm going to call an
Paul. Not on this one.
No. All right. My QBR this year was 57.5. I'm 6 feet tall.
Tua?
You got it.
There we go.
All right. Paul's up by 1. So here he is. He's here. Here's your moment to talk about Tua. You said earlier you thought that he was going to be a bust as to things go. You don't think that things are kind of translating. I mean, it is interesting to get to see a left-handed quarterback back in the league again that I have kind of enjoyed, but I've had few eye-popping moments. I've had some moments that I thought he's been accurate, but nothing that's really, busted off the field for me.
I think that the stats do shock me a little bit. The 10-2 is really what gets me. But he doesn't look like, and I know he's playing on the Dolphins who don't have a ton of playmakers, having just traded everybody away over the last year and a half. But I mean, you just look at some of the other rookies in the league. Joe Burrow, he had one real wide receiver, the rookie Higgins, I think is his name. I can't remember, T. Higgins. But I don't think that Tua is the answer. I thought that a lot of and I'm an Alabama fan, so I thought that a lot of his throws in college they looked lucky, the way he would throw the ball. And then I would really like to see some of the advanced analytics where they give you the percentage of bad throws that they have made, whether they've been intercepted or not, and just to see what he has. I just, at this point, I don't see him being a long-term solution.
I'll definitely be interested to keep watching him as he develops and as they actually start to build a team around him. They do have a couple wide receivers, but they just haven't been healthy. So,
yeah. And I mean, you can take a look at Josh Allen rookie year. He didn't do anything that really mattered. And now they've got Stephon Diggs, and he looks fantastic. And So I mean, it can definitely change. It's just at this point, I don't think he looks like anything special yet.
All right, boys, 3-2, still anybody's ball game. Who am I? This year I threw for 989 yards. This year I threw for 6 touchdowns. This year I threw for 3 interceptions.
Hurts.
Taysom Hill.
Hurts it is.
Nice. Good job.
All right, man. 3-3 ball game. I'm super excited about this. This is great. All right, guys. We got one last round for the quarterbacks. But I was curious because, we've had some weeks away, and we've also had a few more starts from Jalen. And we've also not had a chance to really hear much from Paul since Jalen has started. So why don't you start, Paul, and just kind of tell me if you've had any chance to watch anything, what you've thought about his first couple starts.
I think he's playing well enough where you can put Carson back in there right now. And I think that it's hilarious because I think that Carson Wentz has it in him to be a top 5 or top 7 quarterback in the NFL. I just think that he's regressed so much over the last couple of years. I think he needs to get out of Philly. I think that I don't think that Doug Peterson's a very good coach. I think getting Wentz out of there is key. And I think that Jalen has looked like a good rookie quarterback when I've seen him play. He does add in the extra angle of being able to run. He doesn't run like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, but those two are athletes in their own stratosphere. I think he's doing very well for a rookie. I don't think that he should be Philly's long-term solution, but I think that he has made a compelling point that he's the only answer right now to keep playing.
If you're the GM of the Eagles, which one do you try to trade?
You're not going to get anything for Carson Wentz's contract.
They're talking about, and this is Philly Sports Talk Radio, so take this for a grain of salt. But what I've heard mostly lately is there is some way that they can essentially get out, possibly like with a 3rd round pick, and then maybe a conditional pick for like 4th or something of that nature the year after. And there's some finagling that they apparently can do with the contract if they offload it before March, but they have to offload him before March.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that. I mean, you're going to get a 3rd round pick. The average 3rd round pick plays 2 or 3 years in the league, and here you go with Carson, where you're going to put him in a better situation because the only people who are going to trade for him are people that know what he can do. I think that he goes into a much better situation with receivers that aren't injured as often, and has a nice little comeback, if you want to call it that. I could see him being next year's comeback player of the year.
What about you, Terry? What are your thoughts on those two things?
Well, I mean, as far as the whole Jalen Hurts situation. So, I mean, he definitely shows some upside. He can definitely play a little bit. I'm pretty certain. Looking at him right now, he's definitely not. I don't think he's the answer. I think you saw that this week against the Cowboys. They, a couple weeks on film, they figured out how to like kind of hem him in a little bit. Wasn't as successful. He made some throws where, they got some picks on him, and the Cowboys defense isn't that good. So I mean, it's a tough. The Eagles are in a tough situation. I think so. If you decide to go full rebuild, then you definitely try and move Wentz and get whatever you can in return, because then you obviously you have Hurts, who looks to be, he looks like he could be a stopgap. We don't know if he's a special player. He's shown some signs that he could be, but he would hold you over until your rebuilds. You're a year or two into the rebuild, and you can see from there. But I don't, I was pretty bullish on this a couple of weeks ago about, I thought that Doug Peterson should be fired, and thought that Howie Roseman should go, and I mean, I didn't know really what they were going to do with Wentz. I mean, I don't see any of this happening. I mean, I don't even know if Jim Schwartz is going to get fired. I feel like the Eagles are going to go into the offseason, and Jeffrey Lurie is going to give Howie Roseman a chance to clean up the mess he made, and he's going to give Doug Peterson the benefit of the doubt. He's going to give him a mulligan for this year. Um, and I mean, the same thing with Jim Schwartz. I mean, the defense. He didn't have his full amount of players. A lot of injuries. I mean, it's really just a lot of excuses. I mean, but they were bad this year. All over. And I think they don't trade Wentz. I think they come back in training camp next year, and they have a little bit of a QB competition, which I think you'll see Wentz will get the starting job. And then I hope that he comes back reinvigorated next year with maybe a few less injuries around, where he can actually, get back there, and we can see if he has a chance to like you said, maybe be a comeback player of the year. But it's just too many questions for the Eagles right now. But I just have a feeling that they're not going to do what we want them to do, because I just feel like things have gotten a little bit stale, on my opinion. I think that this is the time when you kind of shake things up, but I just don't see them doing that.
I
So,
think this season
again,
in a
it stays the same.
I think this season in a microcosm for the Eagles is the Deshaun Jackson going out, catching one pass for an 80-yard bomb for a touchdown, deciding to front flip into the end zone, re-injuring himself, and then basically taking himself out of the most important game of the entire year. So, yeah, we need to move on from a lot of people that are on this team and overall. So I'll be interested to see what happens. But I know one thing for sure. We got a tie ball game, and I'm ready for another round. Are you guys ready?
All right.
All right, here we go. Who am I? This year, I threw for 4,234 yards. This year, I threw for 36 touchdowns.
Mahomes.
Negative. Terry?
Russell Wilson.
Negative. This year, I threw for 11 interceptions. This year, my QBR was 71.9. I am
Ryan.
negative. Terry?
Tom Brady.
You got it.
Oh,
We were getting ready to get into the ones that were going to be the gimme ones, too, because, I mean, as soon as I say you're 43 years old, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to know who that. Yeah, that's definitely Josh Allen. Just Rain Man your way right on through that, baby. All right, man. So I'm super excited. Terry's got the lead right now, 4-3. I know Paul wanted to stop earlier, but we got to keep on keeping on. We're going on to the wide receiver portion of the competition. Are you guys ready?
yes.
All right. The number one, who am I? Wide receivers. This year, I had 91 receptions. Those 91 receptions went for 766 yards. This year, I caught 8 touchdowns.
Cole Beasley.
Negative. Terry?
It's
Negative. This year, I averaged 8.4 yards per catch. I am 6 feet 1 inch tall. I wear number 19.
Thielen.
Negative. Paul?
Judy?
Negative. Jerry Judy, right? That's who you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, negative. I am 24 years old. Wide receivers are going to be way tougher. It's going to be fun. I went to USC.
Michael Pittman Jr.
Negative. I may or may not have been a teammate of Antonio Brown.
Juju?
Paul said it first. Going to Paul.
Stop it, Terry. I destroyed you.
All right, go dance on the logo.
So what do you guys think? Is that a decent season for Juju's first season really by himself with the 91 receptions, 766 yards, and 8 touchdowns? I kind of would have expected a little more.
No, it is not good.
I don't even think he's the second best receiver on that team. I think Claypool and Deontay Johnson, I think they both show me a lot. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, I mean, I've seen both of those guys have like massive games throughout the season, and Juju's had a couple of good games, but I think I think that it also hurts that Roethlisberger can't throw a deep ball anymore.
For me, I think it really just puts out there, if you have a number 1 wide receiver, then your number 2 wide receiver can really be a number 5 wide receiver.
I mean, if you just play your cards right, man, you can make magic happen.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, awesome. Tie ball game, 4-4. Oh, man, I am super excited. Here we go. Next round. Who am I? This year, I had 120 receptions. This year, I caught for 1,459 yards. Good golly. This year, I had 8 touchdowns.
Diggs.
You got it.
Nice.
So what do you guys think? Diggs' first season in Buffalo.
He's a changed man. I would be too if I got away from Kirk Cousins like that.
Right? Oh, man. How much happier would you be to have Josh Allen be your quarterback than Kirk Cousins? Oh, right. Man. I can only imagine.
For me.
He probably gets up every morning with such happy thoughts in his head. Like, honestly, that, and I can't tell you how joyful it makes me every time he catches a touchdown and he's like, that's why you pay me the big bucks. That stuff just makes me happy every single time. So,
see, I think there's that. I think that there's a lot in saying how much the Vikings wanted to move on from him, how well he's doing. And for me, another part that kind of goes into it is he's essentially playing in the same climate. I mean, obviously outdoors and the Vikings play indoors, but I mean, he's doing that well at a cold weather place. How good are we doing in Miami right now?
Right? Yeah, I definitely am happy to see him do well. It's always interesting to see guys get a change of scenery and just have it completely change their career.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm super happy for him. Glad he got to move on. Good on him for making good of it.
He's tearing up Buffalo's record books right now. I mean, I think I saw last night that he's passing like Eric Moulds for most touchdowns in a season and all this like crazy like the receptions. Forget who the other Buffalo Buffalo great receiver was, but I mean he's
that's because it was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Hey, he's having a hell of a year. I mean,
yeah,
but yeah, and you could always see that he had like superstar potential in Minnesota because of his speed, and I mean he's got good hands too. But now with Allen, I mean that's you got a dynamic guy that can move around and then uncork the deep ball pretty accurately. I mean that's a great you're exactly right. He should be smiling every day, even if he is waking up in Buffalo in the snow and nothing. He's in a much better situation now.
Yeah, and good for Buffalo for getting a team out there that's going to take them to the playoffs. Like Buffalo is one of the best fan bases out there, and they deserve the shit out of this. So good job.
Yeah, shout out to Bills Mafia.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have any Bills fans that listen to the show, but hey, if you're out there, leave it in the comments section. Let us know. So, you guys ready for the next round? Terry has taken the league. Paul's got to get himself back here. So here we go. Who am I? This year I had 79 receptions. This year I had 1,267 yards receiving. This year I caught 7 touchdowns. This year I averaged 16 yards per catch.
Wow. Mike Evans?
Negative. I am 6'1". I am 21 years old.
Jerry Jeudy?
Calvin Ridley.
Negative on both.
Calvin's older than that.
I wear the number 18.
Jefferson.
Oh, Terry got it.
Nice.
I thought apropos to bring it out. We just got done talking about Stephon Diggs. Now we got the guy that Kirk Cousins throws to, Justin Jefferson. I know Terry and I really wish that he was a bird, but man, he has had quite the season, hasn't he?
He really has.
He's a stud. I mean, he was like the one guy that was coming out this past season that was really can't miss. He did nothing. He did everything right. Like he did everything really well. I mean, he just wasn't as he wasn't at the best fastest 40 as some of the guys. Wasn't as big, but productive. He's showing it in the NFL. He's one of the best receivers in the league this year, and he's only a rookie. And it just makes me angry.
Can I just say, like, how do you let a guy
on our team?
How do you let a guy whose touchdown dance is called the Gritty, if I heard that correctly, go to another city? Like, really?
Yeah. It's another reason for canning Howie Roseman, but for some reason he's got dirt on somebody there, so he's not going to get fired. But I'm glad to see him do well. I mean, because pretty much everybody knew he was going to be good wherever he went, and I mean he's even battling the Kirk Cousins factor and still doing well. So
that's true. All right. This is Paul's round to come back. Paul, are you ready?
Oh, gosh.
You're down by 2. We're getting late. No. You got to catch up. So here we go. All right. Who am I? This year, I had 109 receptions. This year, those receptions went for 1,328 yards. This year, I had 17 touchdown catches.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae?
Oh, I can't believe he got it out before you. Oh, Terry. Terry. Good job, buddy. Good job. 17 touchdowns, Paul. You got to be happy as a Packers fan. Good Lord.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about it, especially since he missed a couple of games early in the year.
That's what makes that number pop so much to me. I can't believe he missed games, and that dude's got 17 touchdowns.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have one receiver who can catch on the team.
Yeah, and you will continue to throw him the ball repeatedly because you know he will catch it.
Every time.
But you know what? You guys have had, was it Tunyon to come up as the tight end? He's been doing like off and on. He gets hot and cold. But
Tunyon is going to join the Richard Rodgers club of Aaron Rodgers throws me the ball, so I'm going to become a multimillionaire.
Right. It's pretty good. Dude, he had another Hail Mary this year. I can't tell you. Was it like the second or third one that guy's caught?
Yeah, it's nuts.
All right. So this one is going to be, we have 2 more left. And so if I give 2 points to the last one, if Paul gets this next one, he's still in it. All right?
That's right, making up rules for me to tie.
Yeah, that's right, bitch. So you better get this shit.
Wait, there's ties?
Unfortunately, there's ties. All right.
Cover the NFL, all right? Yes, there's ties. Yes, it's depressing. And yes, it makes me hate the game a little bit.
Yes, it makes me die inside a little bit every time. All right. Who am I? This year I had 51 receptions. This year I had 771 yards. This year I had 3 touchdowns.
Julio.
You got it. Well, if I told you at the beginning of the year that was going to be the season from Julio, oh man, 3 touchdowns? That's surprising.
Yeah, he's missed a lot of time, and
he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's been a big regression for him. I mean, especially after getting paid, was it a year or two ago? So it's going to be interesting to see if he can bounce back. I mean, is that a Matt Ryan deal, or is that just a can't stay healthy deal?
Oh, that is not a Matt Ryan. Like, Matt Ryan is not a good quarterback, but he's missed games this year, and he reminds me of a slightly healthier AJ Green.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I like that.
He's a better version of AJ Green, but yeah, I think both of those two are on their way out. But I don't know. Is it possible Julio gets cut?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. That's a lot of dead money.
I mean, there's I don't know the contract, but I'm just saying because it seems like Atlanta is they need a little rebuild. But I mean,
I don't think that they do that. Money. I get that, but I think he has like 20 or 25 million in dead money if they cut him.
I was gonna say I know for a fact it's over 10.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe move him. If you're gonna start over, because I mean, Matt Ryan's getting up there, isn't he?
I mean, Julio's getting up there. He's 31 for a wide receiver that's getting old.
Yeah, so I mean, like, and their team is not good. They need help everywhere. Except receiver. I mean, because they still have Ridley, who's much younger. So.
Yeah, and they got Gage as well. He's not bad.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you ready? This one is to tie all the marbles. Very last round. This is going to be literally anyone on the offense who could touch the ball. All right. So, you guys, this is for all of the tie. Who am I? This year I had 105 receptions.
Travis Kelce.
Damn. Yeah, it's Travis Kelce.
Once you said it could be anybody and it's over 100 receptions, I mean, there's only one person it could be.
I figured Kelce was coming, but he got me.
We'll do an honorable mention, and I'm just pulling this up here, so I'm just curious to see what you guys can guess, because this is going to lead us into our next topic. But thank you guys so much for that, because honestly, that was great. We ended up tying it out.
That is not a tie. That is a loss by one. I am not a schoolboy bitch. I will take that loss. I will wear it unproudly, and it will make me hate myself, but it'll just mean that I do better next time.
All right. Well, what I think I'm going to do is next week, and you guys tell me your thoughts on this. I think we're going to do defensive players. Maybe we'll do linebackers and linemen, and we'll see if maybe you guys could guess them, or do you think that would be too... If I keep it to the bigger stats, do you think you guys could do that? Like, I won't go too obscure.
Sacks and like either interceptions or pass breakups. So we'll do like defensive players who rush and then defensive coverage.
Okay, I'm down with that.
You good with that, Terry?
Yeah, it works for me.
So like overall, we'll do overall defense, but we'll just switch up the stats. Like he could play any defensive position.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
You cool with that, Terry?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right.
I'm a little mad that you cut him off because it sounded like he was about to start talking smack, and I was going to have to fly out to Philly to slap him in the face.
Well, we'll have to see how the next week goes, because Ralph will be back, and this is going to get even more fun when we can add one more to the mix.
Like it. That's going to be fun.
So, all right. Well, honorable mention, who am I? This year I had 1,439 yards. I had 5 touchdowns. I had 7 interceptions.
Wait, what?
Yep, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
And 1,400 yards of what?
Offense. That's what he threw for the whole year.
Oh, we're back to quarterbacks. Okay. That's my bad. I was thinking I was thinking like a wide receiver.
No, it's all right.
Wait.
Maybe I wasn't specific enough. I'm sorry. So, yeah, he threw for 1,439 yards. He threw 5 touchdowns. He also threw 7 interceptions. And he currently doesn't have a job anymore.
Dewayne Haskins. Now it's a tie. Now you suck, Terry.
So what do you guys think? I was kind of surprised. I mean, you already had a pretty crappy week, and then you end up getting cut on your team when you actually still have a chance to make the playoffs. They literally came out and said we felt like the team was better off without him than with him on it at this point. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, this one's I mean, it's not a head scratcher. I mean, it's for him. Like, I don't know why you go out and do something like this. And I mean, earlier in the season, he was named captain as well. And you lost your job and everything, but then it's just bad luck. And then he comes in and plays like shit. And I mean, it's Washington, so
for me it gives
cut your losses.
No, I'm right there with you. For me, and this might be unfair, this might be something that would happen to Derek Carr, but it gives me pause on drafting Justin Fields.
So you think that that's basically their sign that they're going to go all in on trying to get a quarterback high in the draft?
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to try unless they get something in free agency. But I'm just saying, for me, when's the last good quarterback from the NFL that went to Ohio State? I'll wait.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that it's a place that you take a quarterback from. And I mean, Justin Fields looked early on, he played like 3.5 games this year. In the early part of the season, he looked phenomenal. But then when they played, was it Michigan? He had like 4 interceptions, and Michigan sucks. So I don't know. It's just, I wouldn't draft a quarterback from Ohio State. I wouldn't draft a linebacker unless they played from the SEC or were named Watts. But yeah, it's just crazy. It sucks to suck.
Yeah, for sure. That tractor beam was back again for a second. I started getting distracted again.
It's the garage door opening underneath it. We got a big snowstorm going on, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on this side, it's like it's just faint enough that it almost sounds like. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I'll tell you what. For interest and time, we're already a little bit over an hour. What I'd really like to do is make sure that we get through our predictions for this week, because that is one of my favorite portions of the show. Would it be okay with you guys if we skip one of our topics and just jump right in?
I'm good with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Terry, you are the man with the ball for the predictions portion of the podcast. I pass the mic over to you, my friend.
All right, guys, we got final week of the NFL season. So I'll start off with the first game on the list here. I have Ravens at the Bengals. I mean, this is for me. This is a no-brainer. The Ravens all the way. They have everything to play for. The Bengals season is over. I will say for rooting interest for the Eagles, go Bengals, because if they win a game, we get another little bit higher of a pick. But, yeah, I'm taking the Ravens in this one.
Can I ask a super quick question?
No.
Is the spread double digits?
It is.
Yes.
Okay. Was it 10 or is it more than 10?
11.5.
Okay.
Higher.
Was it like 12 or 16?
13.
Oh, wow.
Oof.
Interesting. Yeah, that's not a whole lot of respect for the Bengals on that particular side, but I mean, how could you? But really quick, picturesque moment. I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you see the quarterback sneak, and then as he's laying on the bottom of the pile, the old like Kodak smile to the camera from the quarterback of the Bengals this last week?
No.
It's pretty awesome. I might have to send that over in the old group chat because it literally looks like a staged photo. He's
okay,
like,
yeah, let's see that. That sounds fun.
He knew he was on camera, and from the bottom of the pile, he's literally smiling at the camera.
Nice.
But yeah, sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead, guys. Take your picks.
Ravens, obviously.
Did you give yours, Tara?
Yeah,
Ravens.
Ravens all the way.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so yes, I picked the Ravens as well.
All right, next one we got the Steelers falling apart, going to Cleveland, playing the Browns. Browns still have something to play for. They need to win and get in. The Steelers already have the playoff spot locked up. They haven't been playing well, but I'm sure they're probably going to rest some guys. I'm going Cleveland on this one.
I'm so bearish on Baker because I just think he's so bad that I kind of want to take the Steelers' backup defense against him. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers in this one.
I'm shocked. I think something happened while you were away from the show. You refused to pick the Steelers even when they were on their run, like every single week. You were like, no, fuck that shit. I'm not taking them. I'll take the other team. And now we're here at the end of the week in the game that they should lose, and you're like, no, Steelers. All right, man. Let's go out in the blaze of glory. Fuck it. I'm taking the Browns.
So the Steelers are also getting 10 points.
Wow, really?
And
Yes.
anybody want to make a side bet on that one? I'll take the Steelers plus 10.
Yeah, right. I might have to put a little something on that one. Hey, man, it was like a week. Was it 2 weeks ago when we made our predictions? I asked Terry. I was like, "Hey, man, should we put a little money on the Jets just to see what happens?" And he was like, "Hell no!" And then they ended up winning that game. I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, they cost me a little bit in a parlay I had too, bastards.
We knew it was coming one week.
Yeah, but it's such a Jets thing to do. You had Trevor Lawrence locked up. You just keep losing.
I mean, that sounds pretty Jets to me.
Yeah. So next up, we have the potential for the winner of this game could be the winner of the NFC East. Cowboys traveling to New York to play the Giants. I mean, this is going to be probably a pretty awful football game, but I hate to say it, the Cowboys are playing better, and they're on a little bit of a roll. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Same here, and I hate the Cowboys.
This makes it so much harder because you both did it. God damn it. All right, I'll take the Cowboys as well. And this is my main reason why. This is my hope. Cowboys get into the playoffs. They get rid of Dak in the offseason, and then they can perpetually suck for that much longer. And not that I have that much faith in Dak, but I think he's still a good franchise guy, especially a good locker room guy. He's not always the most accurate, but I think he plays up a bit. But that's my hopes. If Dallas gets some false sense of security and hope from this season, Jerry ends up playing hardball in the offseason. Maybe they lose both Zeke and Dak, and then that sets them back even a little bit further. I don't know, man. I'm feeling happy about this. Could be what I feel like the Eagles are basically falling into that same situation.
I think losing Zeke points them in the right direction. I think that Zeke's past his career now. And I don't see any way that the Cowboys don't franchise tag Dak again.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a super shitty thing to do as an organization to a player who's, I mean, it's super shitty to franchise people once, but to do it 2 years in a row and right after an injury like that, terrible, terrible thing to do. But it's such a Jerry Jones thing to do. So the Cowboys will have Dak at the helm next year, and he will be on another 1-year deal.
Doing him dirty.
Nobody does it better. Sorry, go
ahead. Next up, we got the Falcons traveling to Tampa, play the Bucks. This is another game that, for me, I think the Buccaneers pretty much have their spot pretty much wrapped up. I don't know how much they're going to play a lot of these guys. And the Falcons are another team that I have a rooting interest in because they are currently have the same amount of wins as the Eagles. So I'm going to take the Falcons to beat the Bucks.
I wanted to be the odd man out and take the Falcons over the Bucks. But since you're a jerk, I'm going to take the Bucks over the Falcons.
I don't think this year I can really have any faith in the Falcons winning anything. I'm still going to go with the Bucks, even if they do sit some people. I think that there's probably still a chance they win that game. So,
look, there are certain things you do not do, and betting in games for the NFC South is one of those things. Look at those games the last 15 years; it doesn't make sense at all.
I would definitely not put money on this game. Yeah, I would definitely not put money on this game. Would you guys?
I probably would have put money on the Falcons against Terry if he hadn't been a douche.
Come on, man.
He's ruthless, man. He's ruthless. I told you guys.
The Falcons are getting 6.5 points also.
Whatever. I'll take the money line against them. I don't even care.
I feel like the I don't know, because maybe the Bucks play their guys and see, keep it rolling, because after Brady and all the bunch of receivers they got, they just destroyed the Lions.
Yeah.
Even the Lions had nobody. So I got the Falcons. Both of you taking the Bucks?
You got it.
Yep.
All right. We've got next is the Jets going to New England. Ugh. Just because it's the Jets, I'm gonna take the Jets to beat the Patriots. Just because I'd love to see Bill Belichick lose to the Jets.
Stop taking my shocking picks, all right? Because it's gonna happen, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think that would happen." I was gonna look like a genius, and now you're over here taking all of the early picks. No, screw it. No. We're both taking the Jets, and I hate you for this.
All right, the next couple, I'll let you go first. I swear.
No, let's all the shocking games. Cool. Now I get the easy ones. Thanks.
Well, if that's the case, I don't want Paul to kick my ass. So I'm going to take New England to win the game.
All right. So next one, we have Minnesota at Detroit. Paul?
Minnesota at Detroit. I'm going to take the Vikings. The Lions are terrible.
I'm also going Vikings. The Lions are awful team.
That'll make three of us.
All right, next one up. Now we're starting to get into the games that kind of have something riding on them. First one I have up is we got the Pack Heading to Chicago, playing the Bears.
I got to take the Packers in this one. And part of it is because if the Bears win, they're in the playoffs. And while that might be kind of cool, because I love when the Packers beat the Bears in the playoffs, and it doesn't get to happen that much because the Bears don't make the playoffs very often, I don't want to be the team that lets them in. So I got to go with the Packers on this one.
Will they likely fall to play the Pack if they get in?
They'll be the 7th seed. So they'd have to win the first game since the Packers. Well, yes, essentially they'd have a good chance at playing first round, depending on who gets the first seed and how that shakes out.
That would be interesting. That'd be fun.
Now, are the Packers currently there? Are they holding the top seed in the NFC?
Yeah, they've got the number 1 seed. If they win, they keep the number 1 seed. If they lose, it depends what happens between the Falcons and the Saints as well.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It's a lot at stake for that game.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers hates the Bears, and I'm pretty sure he associates his ex-girlfriend with the Bears now. So I got to go with Aaron Rodgers. Just going to play with some hatred there. I like it.
Well, I'm going Packers too. I know this one's kind of because the Pack kind of has everything pretty much wrapped up, so they might. I mean, they could pull some starters, but now that it is still the number 1 seed still kind of is on the line. That's important, so I'm going to take them, and I think they should easily win this game.
I'm going to I'm going to take the Packers, although it would be interesting, as Paul mentioned, to see the Bears get in just to make it even that much more of a fun rivalry game, but I still think the Packers are going to take it.
All right, next we got the Titans heading to Houston, playing the Texans.
Titans.
Yeah, as much as the Titans are up and down, they need this one. So I'm going Titans as well.
All of us are falling right in line for these last few. Yep, Titans as well for me too.
We got Saints at the Panthers.
I think this is going to be an interesting one. What do you guys think?
The Saints need to win because if
the Saints need to win, and the Panthers have been playing pretty good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I just have no faith in the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going Saints all the way on this one. I can't.
All right, I'm going
Panthers.
Panthers it is. Panthers are going to destroy the Saints. They're going to make them little bitches and it's going to be like, oh snap! How did Terry pick that game wrong?
I'll be right there with you, Terry. I'm going to go Saints as well.
Idiot.
It's going to be a lot of fun next year when these picks really count.
All right, next one. Now here's this would be a shocker if you took the team on this one. So how about the Jags at the Colts?
Ooh. I'm still going to go Colts on that one. I'll go first on this one.
Yeah, I think we should all go Colts.
We should all go Colts. And the Jags already have the number 1 pick wrapped up, right? Like even if they win and the Jets lose, they have the tiebreaker, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because even if they finish with the same record, the Jags still have whatever tiebreaker that is.
Yeah, then I'm gonna go with them not playing very inspired or anything. So I'm gonna go with the Colts. As much as I don't want to.
Yeah, same. I'm going Colts here too. All right, so Seahawks at the Niners.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks in this one. I don't see them losing to the Niners.
I think I'm going to be right there with you with the Seahawks. I know that it could be a game that they could let get away from them, but my faith in the coaching staff at the 49ers is pretty slim, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
That makes 3 of us. We're all in on the Seahawks. I just don't see them. I don't see them losing this game with the playoff positioning and everything. It's important at this point for them. So. Look at the Seahawks in this one.
And not that it matters this year, but the Niners are 1-6 at home this season.
Yeah, that's terrible. But Paul, you missed it, bud. I had this huge rant on the show about how many times they let Mullins throw the ball. Because then one of the games, I think that he dropped back like 50-something fucking times. And I was just talking about, like, why the hell won't they run the goddamn ball? Like, I don't understand why you think you're going to win games when you let this dude throw the ball, and he's not even an NFL quarterback, over 30-something times a game. It's ridiculous. So I just thought I'd recreate that for you for a moment because, good Lord, it was a lot of fun, and I kind of wish you were here for it.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
All right. The early game I missed was we have the Dolphins at the Bills.
Ooh, that might be an interesting one.
Dolphins at the Bills. I'm taking the Bills.
Do we know who's starting for the Dolphins at quarterback? Is it Tua? Is it Tua?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said Tua is the starter.
And the Bills have locked it up, right? Yeah, they were first, so they're definitely in. So, what do you think, Terry?
I mean, the Dolphins definitely need this one more than the Bills do. I don't know. The Dolphins going to Buffalo in late December, it'll be January. Yeah, I got to go the Bills on this one.
Yep.
I'm going to be the contrarian. I'll go Dolphins to be fun. I still think I like their defense, and who knows, maybe the Bills just don't show up for a game. It wouldn't be the first time it's happened.
I think if the Bills don't show up for a game, it's going to be their first playoff game because they've got too many people there that haven't done much of anything in the postseason.
We've had this conversation before about you bringing facts and logic to the show. I don't know if I like it.
My bad. Bills are going to roll over in this one. It's going to be insane. It's going to be like they're straight out of the ACC and playing an SEC team.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So we got, the Chargers at the Chiefs.
Anybody taking Chargers? Bueller?
Are the Chiefs sitting people?
I'm going to think that they are.
Then I'm taking Chargers.
I'm going to have to go with you. I think the Chiefs are going to just sit most of their guys. I don't even think they might even play them. I mean, the Chargers can't really hurt themselves anymore by winning the game.
Yeah, I think that Justin Herbert can beat a second string team.
All right, you talked me into it. I'll say Chargers as well.
Quick, Jerry, let's switch to the Chiefs.
I mean, so the line, the Chargers are 3.5-point road favorites.
Oh, wow.
So the Chiefs aren't going to play anybody. So it's...
And Vegas still has trepidation about giving them more than 6 points.
Yeah, that's true. So we got all three on the Chargers on this one. This is it's probably the first time all season that not all three didn't take the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the last hurrah of the year, right?
Yeah. All right. What's the next game on tap here? So we have the Raiders at the Broncos. No, I'm going Raiders on this one. I just feel like they have to get that ugly loss from this past week out of their minds. So they take it out on the Broncos.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders because I don't think that the Broncos have anybody that matters on offense.
I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one just because I feel like things are probably going to follow suit for Gruden this year, but we'll see what happens.
All right, so we've got next up is basically the win and you're in game. Cardinals at the Rams. I was going to say currently there's no spread on the game.
It's because Jared Goff is injured.
Yeah, So I was going to say I'll go first because I always do that on the obvious games. If you haven't caught on yet, they're out there, listeners. I will go Cardinals in this game. But even still, can I just say really quickly, The Rams kind of petered out towards the end of the year. I wasn't super. I really thought things would start to come on for them. They looked like they were starting to figure things out, and then it looks like they fell back into their same issues of woe that they had last year.
That'll happen when you have Jared Goff as a starting quarterback.
So then, are we going to say that Wentz and Goff are both washes?
Yeah, and both of them, all of their teams have been in a Super Bowl, but I'm going to take the Rams in this one and say that their backup quarterback takes them to the playoffs.
Isn't it going to be Blake Bortles?
I don't think we're going to see Blake Bortles.
I thought they signed Blake Bortles for the game.
They did, but that's because they needed a backup.
Oh, like a backup to the backup. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Keep that bench warm, Blake.
There's part of me that says go Rams because of the system that McVay runs. I think they're going to try and run the ball a lot. And, the Cardinals defense, just got to see them a couple of weeks ago, and they're not really that great. And I haven't really felt all that confident in, Murray recently. And they're going to be stacking the box. I'm going to go Cards. I'm going to go Cards on this one.
Welcome to the dark side of the Force.
Yeah. Yep, I'm going to go with that.
Even if the Rams get into the playoffs, I don't expect them to win anything this year. That's for darn sure.
I think that's kind of the same for both of these teams. I don't really. The Cardinals could maybe surprise somebody, like on like an offensive.
It depends on if their defense decides to show up. If the Cardinals defense shows up and actually plays on a given Sunday, then they might actually win a couple games. But otherwise, I don't think they can keep up.
I'll throw $10 on the winner of this game in whoever they play first round of the playoffs.
Ooh. I'll do a gentleman's bet. Sure. We'll do $10.
All right.
So winner takes all between the three of us? No comment.
No, what do you mean?
No, I was just trying to, if Terry and I go, because Terry and I Terry and I can split it. Otherwise, then I guess it would all go to you, right?
Fine. Then I want 2-to-1 odds, and you both owe me $10.
That's fine.
All right, cool.
All right, I'm down. With that.
Cool.
Oh no, we've created a monster. All right.
Last one. The football team heading to Philly.
How is this the last game of the NFL regular season? How did we let this happen?
Let's write a nasty letter to NBC because they're the ones that flexed it. Like, why isn't the Cardinals and the Rams game?
Why isn't
8 o'clock.
any other game on rather than an NFC East game? Ugh, this is just terrible.
Because they want to punish our eyes up until the last game of the regular season.
Do you think they just hedged their bets that the Eagles were going to win that game? Like, do you think they thought that this game was going to matter?
They could have flexed it already this week. They don't have to flex it.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So it's at this point, it's just stupid.
For me, it's pretty apropos for this crazy season of football that we've had that we end up with a game that I have no idea who the hell is going to win this game. With the Washington football team, we talked about earlier with them rolling out with a wholly different quarterback now. Is it going to be, if it's not Alex Smith, that they said who it's going to be?
I haven't heard anything aside from that Alex Smith is projected to be the starter.
Well,
yeah, don't they still have that Allen?
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I read something earlier that said that he's on track to play, Alex Smith. So it sounds like he's going to play on Sunday. So they're going to have their starter, I guess.
Well, let's let Paul pick first, since that way he can feel better about it.
For what, the game? If Alex Smith starts, then I have Washington. If anybody starts aside from Alex Smith, then I got the Eagles.
I have to do this on the last pick of the year.
That's what I mean. It's kind of makes sense, right?
Got to pick against the Eagles right now. I mean, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I want the Eagles to have the higher draft pick. Yeah. Would I like them to win? Yeah, but it's not going to help us. So I'm taking Washington.
You're picking your favorite team to lose?
That's right. Because I want Micah Parsons.
Soulless.
So.
That's soulless. Soulless. Gutless. I'm just kidding.
I was still going to pick the Eagles anyway, just because I feel like it's going to be the most Eagles thing for them to win the game that doesn't matter. So I absolutely will take the Eagles in this game.
I already did that with the Saints earlier, Brandon. I never thought they were going to win that
Man.
Hey, man, you got to make it happen.
Top 5 pick. There's less of a chance that Howie can screw it up if it's a top 5 pick.
You would think so, but my friend, he will surprise you.
I know, but let's give him less chances.
Well, I think that's going to wrap everything up here for our predictions portion of the podcast. I want to say it's definitely been a pleasure having you back, guys. Thank you, Paul, for coming to this week, and thank you, Terry, for showing up as well. It's definitely been a lot of fun for me to be able to catch up with my buds and be able to have some laughs here on a random Tuesday when we record the show. I'm going to try to have everything out tomorrow to air. And then definitely make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Definitely let us know in the comments section what you guys thought of the show. Definitely also make sure that you keep an eye on the channel. We have the Escape the Mind gaming stuff going on. Our Beyond Explanation podcast is going to be coming back pretty soon as well. And with playoffs, I mean, I don't know. We got some live streaming. Yeah, we got live streaming capabilities set up last week for me to be able to live stream on the channel. So I don't know if we're feeling froggy one day, maybe we'll do like a pregame or something. We'll have to see how things are going. But yeah, that could be a lot of fun. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you again for tuning in, and see you later.
See ya.
Later on.
It's my turn! You told me it was my turn.
You can talk all that you want to, yell and scream, you lost.
It is my turn.
You lost the game. Take as long as you want, you still lost.